Now before I get into the video, you'll notice a large part of the fantasy section of my park is completely different to how it was last episode. That's because Elgato hates me and it didn't want to record the entire last episode properly, so this would be episode 9 if the real episode 8 was to capture correctly. We've basically just got a custom themed flat ride and a lot more theming in the park and pretty much a whole other area that just rips off the Wicker Man completely, so yeah, there's that. Alright, what's poppin'? Welcome back to Planet Coaster episode 8 in a bit. I say that because if you listen to the intro, the entire last episode didn't want to record, so we've got this entire new section with this flat ride here that pretty much rips off the Wicker Man, and we're going to be doing even more of that in this episode because we're going to make a wooden roller coaster next to it. Now there's a lot to talk about in this episode in regards to updates to the game, DLC that's coming out and has come out. Things that I'm going to do in the future because I don't want to do the whole fantasy thing and that I want to make a new section in the future. So we've got a lot to cover in this episode, so I think we'll start it off with the new DLC coming to Planet Coaster, the Magnificent Rides DLC. Now this DLC looks really cool actually. It's got 9 different rides ranging from flat rides like this mad carousel. You can actually see me putting in some Christmas decorations. This is just a little thing that I'm doing, little Christmas, yay Christmas. So basically the Magnificent Rides DLC is just 9 rides ranging from flat rides to new coaster types. They just released the fact that they're going to be adding a Mac multi-launch and hyper coaster to the game, and that looks incredible. I'll put a picture of it up on the screen right now. And yeah, that just looks really cool. I can't wait to be able to actually finally recreate things like Helix and Blue Fire, and in some respects Terran as well, because the Mac multi-launch and the Intamin multi-launch Blitz coasters, they have the same sort of track design, the same sort of train design, the same sort of launch system. So I think it will be good to try and maybe do something like Terran, add something into the park right here, and it will be very nice. And also talking about DLC and updates, there's also been the Theme Maker's Toolkit, which is it's a custom scenery update. So basically do a bunch of stuff, make your own custom scenery, and then you can upload it to the Planet Coaster website and actually download it into the game and put it on the Steam Workshop, which I think is really cool. You can see there, just in the little bar at the bottom, you can see the Theme Maker, what is it, Toolkit items, that's it, just Toolkit items, and it's got a lot of good stuff in there. I think I use some actually here in a sec when I put like a rowing boat in the river or something. But I just think that some of the rocks, some of the items are really, really nice. Adding on to that, we've also got the World's Fair DLC, which came out quite recently actually, because they used to do DLC once every 3 months. So they did the, I think it was the Studios DLC first and the Adventure DLC, and then the Vintage DLC, something that I need to start doing in this park because I want to make a vintage area, but all will come in due time. Hopefully, if my game doesn't start running at 2 FPS. And then they released the World's Fair DLC, which I think is my favourite DLC overall. It's just really good. It's got loads of things from China, Japan, Bavaria. That was before I did the Swiss section, and that's actually kind of annoying because I put so much effort into the architecture for the Swiss section, and now they've got it in the game as actual pieces. But I digress. Yeah, the next thing that I'm going to do in the park is probably going to be either a vintage section or a Chinese section. I think those are going to be the 2 last parts of the park, because at the moment I'm not really too sure in the sci-fi section because I'm not great at sci-fi theming in this game. Like, that's one of the things that I'm really bad at, sci-fi theming. But I might do the sci-fi section because I want this park to have 4 sections. Originally it was going to be the adventure section, a tropical section, an Aztec section, a western section, and a fairy tale fantasy section, but now it's kind of turned into the Aztec section, the fantasy section, and I think it's either going to be the fantasy and the Aztec section, along with either a Chinese or sci-fi section and the vintage area. But I don't know, leave what you think in the comments because I'm not really too sure of what I'm going to do with the rest of this park. Anyway, what am I doing in this video? Well, I think I've already touched upon it. I'm going to be making a wooden roller coaster inspired by pretty much every GCI Mini Woody. So that's going to be fun. You can actually see me place that wooden roller coaster down there. But it's pretty much just going to be a rip-off of Wicker Man. Instead of flying through a wicker man structure. However, it's going to be like following the theme of like storming a castle pretty much. So I'm going to try and work the story around that. This one's not going to be so heavily themed as some of the others, like Aztecs and Adventures or Rack von Desire. It's just going to be more of just a ride that you can ride. You don't need to really care too much about the theming. Yes, of course, I'm still going to have theming elements there, but it's more going to be scenery and rock work and just that big tower centerpiece in the middle, rather than having a deeply intricate theme like Aztecs and Adventures did. I will try and make maybe a story around it, so maybe just like know what the ride's about, but I think it's just gonna be a ride that's there to be fun and to be enjoyable to ride, and I think that's pretty much achieved. It's got a lot of airtime, it's got some good speed throughout the ride, it's got some surprising moments. I think the end helix is definitely going to be would be the highlight of the ride, because if you see here, I make a few more hills, then it does a helix over the water that goes right by, can't even remember what I call it, like Alpina Express Blitzbahn or something. I named it something long-winded like that. But yeah, you pass right round next to it, and if it times up, you can get what I like to call on ride the perfect ride, where it perfectly times up and you go around at exactly the same time, making a really cool near-miss effect. Although I'm not too sure if you can actually get that, because I was waiting for about 5 minutes in the recording just to see if they went round at the same time. They didn't quite line up, so I'm not sure. You might be able to get it. Might be really rare though. But yeah, this ride didn't really take me that long to make the layout for, because I'm used to, in my spare time, just making layouts like this for wooden roller coasters, ones that just go up and down a few times, have a few twists, a few turns. This would be a less typical GCI layout, because GCIs normally focus on really high speed transitions and twists and turns, but this one's really just taking inspiration from, yeah, as I said, Wicker Man, and also some of the other smaller ones like White Lightning at Fun Spot America, El Toro, not to be confused with the one in America, El Toro at Freizeitpark Plon in Germany, somewhere where I really want to go because it looks like a really fun and charming place, but there's not really much there at the moment except for that wooden roller coaster. And of course Invader at Busch Gardens Williamsburg in America, which looks like a really fun ride. But other than that, I think the layout was just kind of inspired by what I like to see in wooden roller coasters: fast speed, yeah, pretty quick transitions, some turns, some airtime, all that good stuff. And I also just wanted to make it suitable for families to ride, like Wicker Man is, because Wicker Man's one of my favourite family roller coasters in the world. I think that and Dwervelwind at Toverland are my two favourite family coasters in the world, because they both have incredible theming, they both have really, really thrilling layouts, but they're also not too extreme, they're not too intense, because that's what I want this park to be about. We only have one really thrilling ride, well, one really thrilling roller coaster, which is Rack von Desire. That wouldn't be family friendly because it's got too many big drops, fast inversions, fast transitions. But yeah, this kind of bridges between a children's coaster and a family coaster, kind of like what Alpina Express Blitzbahn or whatever it's called, again I can't remember, such a long-winded name, and Aztecs and Adventures kind of do, but this definitely bridges that gap between kiddie coaster and thrill ride, and that's what I want this park to do. I've spent a few episodes just figuring out what I want the park to be like, what I want the park to do, but I've decided it's going to be a very family friendly park with some more intense family rides, but I want it a lot of it to be family rides with heavy theming and with good theming, and just a place where you'd want to spend your day. As you can see, I'm putting down this little kiddie flat ride here because I noticed a few episodes ago that we didn't have too many flat rides here. That's why I put in the one that pretty much rips off Wicker Man that I couldn't record, but I custom skinned that flat ride with this ride because it's so well themed and it doesn't seem like it's come straight off a fairground. You don't exactly need to put any extra theming into it apart from a little border that I create with this little rock that I found in the Theme Maker's Toolkit. But that's all that this little bit of video is. It's just me theming the little pavilion around this ride and theming everything around it. The landscaping, all that rock work, scenery work, all that sort of stuff is just me theming that, I guess. Okay, now that's all looking nice and woodlandy, just putting a few more rocks down, a few more bushes, making it look all nice and natural in the area that it is, and yeah, that's pretty much it. I've got a few planters out around the front if it wants to show, there we go, a little bit of planters, just adding a tree into that little area of dead space, just making it look all nice and pretty, and we're pretty much just back. That's pretty much all I do in the video, just theming the castle. I don't actually end up doing that much with it, but yeah, that's about it. I think next episode I think I'm just gonna theme around this area a little bit, put some more landscaping, more scenery, actually try and do the train station out near this bit because I haven't done that in quite a while. I haven't thought about doing that in quite a while, so I think next episode, yeah, just about theming this entire section, getting everything else done, theming the train station, theming this ride queue, then going on to our next area, which is going to be a Jin Dynasty Chinese style area, and seeing where I go with that. The Mac launch coaster does get added, I think today when I upload this video, but I won't be able to make a video for the next 2 weeks because I'm going to Australia, no vlogs from there, because as I said before, I'm not going to be doing vlogs in the last episode. I said for now I'm not going to be doing vlogs because there's just too much stress. I have no idea how people like do vlogs every day because it's just mad stressful. Like when I went to the theme parks, a lot of the time I couldn't really enjoy it because it was just too much pressure I was putting on myself to get the vlogs out, which didn't actually turn out that great. But you know, in the future I might do some shorter vlogs, maybe next year when I go to America, when I go to Cedar Point, when I go to hopefully Carowinds and some places in California. I'll be able to get some shorter vlogs out, maybe 1-2 minute vlogs, just like reviewing some stuff, and I might even get a review series out just on the channel, start a second channel to do some more comedy stuff, because this channel is more theme park stuff now. I might actually change up the channel, you know, give it a new lick of paint, spruce it up, get rid of that terrible channel banner, because I know a lot of my friends hate that banner. I literally just chose it from my phone and I was like, yeah, that looks good enough for now. So change that up, maybe change up the logo, but I really like the logo how it is at the moment. But yeah, pretty much just do all that, maybe change up some of the content, maybe do actual gaming videos, but you never know, I'll see what happens. Anyway, that's it for this video, you know, just going through Aztecs and Adventures now, I can't remember why. So yeah, leave a like and I'll see you next time, I guess.